protecting and keeping the ice away. And then when it does start to snow, it can help melt that snow more quickly.
As we inch closer to winter, different agencies are getting ready to put de-icers out on our roads. So we're hearing how local jurisdictions are treating it differently this year.
And a lot of you are concerned about this moose spotted with a ring around its neck. Well, tonight we're talking to Fish and Game on whether they're planning to do anything about it.
One county in western Washington is paying people who live on the streets to clean up neighborhoods. So what do you think? Should Spokane do the same?
Get out your phones. We want to hear from you. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
It's good to have you with us here tonight. I'm Whitney Ward. We begin now with some breaking news out of Hawaii, a shooting at Pearl Harbor right now. So at this point, we know at least 3 people have been injured. 2 are in critical condition. This happened about 90 minutes ago at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Naval Shipyard in Honolulu. Sources tell our CBS affiliate in Hawaii that several civilians are among the victims.
The base is now on lockdown, but local media are reporting the suspect has been, quote, secured. We will continue tracking this for you and bring you the very latest information as it becomes available. In the meantime, you can also head to KREM.com or the KREM 2 mobile app for updates.
New tonight, we have just learned a for-profit Spokane college now has to pay for fraud against the Department of Veterans Affairs. New Horizons Spokane and its general manager have agreed to pay more than $120,000.
Educational institutions request reimbursement from the VA for tuition and fees incurred by veterans and service members under the GI Bill. In this case, New Horizons admitted to not following the rules for taking part in this program. The Spokane Valley New Horizons location is one of more than 60 franchises all across the country.
All right, if you are making plans for the upcoming weekend, you may want to choose something inside because we're tracking quite a bit of rain.
Yeah, meteorologist Thomas Patrick in for Tom Sherry tonight with more details on that. Thomas.
Yeah, at least it's not going to be a 100% washout weekend, but we are tracking rain as opposed to snow, and that is the key distinction. Table the weekend discussion for just a moment because we're still working with a little rain as of this hour. Looks like it's tapering out in Kootenai County. Had some light showers in and around Coeur d'Alene, Hayden, Rathdrum areas. Now it's a little bit farther to the south near Plummer, Tico, and the Cheney area seeing some light rain at the moment. As we continue to zoom a little bit farther off to the west, some pink shades over Grant County near Mattawa, south of Moses Lake. Freezing rain still trying to be an issue. Looks like it's a pretty minor as of now, but at least that's where temperatures are coldest. 31 in Ritzville, the cold spot, still 41 currently in Spokane. So if you're driving along I-90, you will notice that difference on the car thermometer. So some light rain being reported at the airport right now in Spokane at 41 degrees. And that rain looks like it's going to continue for a couple more hours. So the latest on the areas that will still see some rain through tomorrow and what portions of the weekend may be just dry enough to get outdoors.
Sounds good, Thomas. Thank you very much. And there's no snow on the ground right now, but we all know it's that time of year when conditions can quickly change. That's why local agencies are watching conditions closely and preparing the roads to make sure they're safe for us to drive on.
KREM 2's Tim Pham is looking into how different roads are treated in our area, depending, of course, on what type of weather we're expecting, but also on which department is doing the work.
It's probably safe to say when there's snow or ice on the ground, most agencies might use something like salt to treat them. Most do, but our region is so diverse that different methods are used depending on the location. It's different for the city, county, and the freeways. In Spokane city limits, their #1 priority is where people are more likely to slide, like hills and bridges.
So we're worried about them sliding on a bridge where it's going to be colder and more likely to ice up. We're worried about them sliding down a hill. So those are always the priorities, and then flat areas.
They use a liquid de-icer called magnesium chloride, and for the sake of demonstration, we actually made our own snow today in the KREM kitchen. We also labeled this bottle magnesium chloride just so you can get an idea of how it's applied. It's sprayed onto the snow in hopes that cars actually churn it over and keep the ice away. WashDOT uses the same method, but they also pre-treat the interstate and highways before severe weather hits.
We've used salt brine in the past, but the magnesium chloride has a better property to kind of clear the roadway a little bit faster.
WashDOT also plows the interstate. They say I-90 is obviously their top priority. In Spokane County, a spokesperson tells me their methods change depending on the conditions and the location. They cover more than 5,200 lane miles. They also use de-icer, but then they'll also use sand to add some traction in some known trouble spots. So all three agencies tell me that there isn't one set temperature that will force them to start treating the roads. They say if it drops below freezing and conditions get dangerous, they'll treat the roads before, during, and after a snow event. Reporting in Spokane, I'm Tim Pham, KREM 2 News.
Judge Raquel Montoya Lewis just became the first Native American person to be appointed to the Washington Supreme Court. She is currently the Whatcom County Superior Court judge.
It's a great privilege and responsibility to sit on this bench with these extraordinary justices. For me, justice is not an abstract concept. Justice is a term of action. And I believe as judges and justices, we are called to do justice.
So she will be filling the final year of Chief Justice Mary Fairhurst's term. Fairhurst is retiring in January. Judge Montoya Lewis, however, will not be the Chief Justice. The court last month chose Justice Deborah Stevens to fill that role. Both of them will be sworn into their new roles next month.
Washington Congressman Denny Heck announced his retirement today. He said he will retire at the end of his term. Heck represents parts of Pierce, Thurston, and Mason counties.
He's also a member of the House Intelligence Committee that is part of the impeachment inquiry. Heck was first elected in 2012. He would have been up for re-election next year. He says he'll be spending his retirement days with his wife and family.
Well, this photo of a moose has some neighbors in North Idaho concerned. A couple living near Athol sent us this photo of a moose with a ring around its neck.
Many say they think it's part of a bucket that broke off, and they're worried it's now hurting the animal. KREM 2's Taylor Vito reached out to Fish and Game to ask what they're doing about it.
That moose has been spotted in this rural neighborhood outside of Athol. Some neighbors tell me that the animal appears to be in distress because of that ring around its neck. But Idaho Fish and Game says at the end of the day, the animal seems to be healthy. Well, we often see backyard moose pics, but not many like this. It's clear to see that this moose has what looks like a collar around its neck. But here's the thing, Fish and Game confirms that's not a tracking collar. The neighbors who sent us these photos think it's the top ring of a bucket that broke off. They're concerned that it's bothering the animal, and they're not the only ones. Betsy on Facebook commented, "What if the moose outgrows the ring?" Wanda Lee said, "What if the animal gets tangled in brush and hurts its neck?" So I reached out to Idaho Fish and Game to see what, if anything, can be done here. Here's what I found out. Yes, Fish and Game is aware of this particular moose. They've previously received updates on it. But for now, Fish and Game isn't taking any action. Their reason? The moose appears to be healthy and it's still able to feed. Fish and Game says they certainly could tranquilize the animal and remove the collar, but that can be challenging to plan. The moose has to be in a safe area and away from people. The process can be stressful for any animal. Game officers are currently taking their time on deciding if and when to intervene in this case, but as long as it has some healthy fat on its bones and is able to feed, Fish and Game will let nature run its course. In Athol, Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.
Hopefully, by doing this job right here, maybe I could get hired on fully, by the city or something.
Well, he is part of a crew in Little Rock, Arkansas that gets paid to clean up trash in the city. This program went viral earlier this year, and now King County is launching a similar initiative. It's a program where city leaders hire people experiencing homelessness to help clean up the streets. And we want to know what you think. Do you think we should bring a similar program to Spokane? Let us know by clicking on the Vote Now tab on the KREM 2 mobile app. In the meantime, Whitney will break down how this program may benefit everyone. Whitney?
Hi, yeah, this is all part of a 6-month pilot program, and it gained huge amounts of traction after some business owners in the area had complained that trash just wasn't getting cleaned up. So King County set aside $125,000 to target trash in 4 specific areas. County leaders say the goal is to help people who are experiencing homelessness to make a little money and ultimately find housing of their own. People in the program will be focusing on picking up garbage as well as cleaning up graffiti. The project will be called the King County Conservation Corps. So again, it's only a 6-month program for now. That's to see if it should expand. And then they will be split up into 5-person crews to work on weekdays. Those workers will make between $18 and $20 an hour. The nonprofit Millionaire Club charity is behind all the hiring and staffing. So right now there are already crews out there doing the work. Staff members say since they started, 2 people on the crew who work were homeless have now found housing. So already some success stories. Now, we asked you online what you thought of this program. Marnell, for example, said, absolutely, I would love to see Spokane more well kept. Sounds like a win for everyone. But not everyone feels that way. Some people believe the people who are living on the streets are the ones who are making the mess. Jennifer said, so we're going to pay them to pick up their own garbage? And others said all of it just kind of depends. Ryan said it's good as long as it pays a living wage plus all benefits that other county workers would get. So this program is also about making neighborhoods look more appealing to visitors and people who live in that area. So earlier we asked you if you think that Spokane should get into a similar program. And as we take a look right now, 83% of people saying, yeah, that's a fantastic idea. So keep those votes coming and let us know what you think. Mark?
And we'll keep you posted about that. Whitney, thank you very much. Well, it might be harder to get food stamps soon. The Trump administration is tightening work requirements in a move that would slash benefits for hundreds of thousands of people. The new change would limit the ability of states to exempt work-eligible adults from having to get jobs in order to receive SNAP benefits. The program helps more than 36 million Americans. USDA leaders say the cut would roughly be about $5.5 billion over 5 years. You might be required to get your picture taken in the meantime when you are leaving or entering the U.S. soon. Federal leaders are considering requiring all travelers to be photographed using facial recognition technology.
Yeah, the Department of Homeland Security says they expect to publish a proposed rule next July. Facial recognition is actually already being tested by several airports, including SeaTac. Travelers do have the option to opt out of that program, though.